everyone, welcome back to the Blood Ties podcast. I'm Molly Wansell and I'm here with my father, Geoffrey Wansell.
Hello everyone, welcome back.
I was thinking that we just launched into doing new eps without really talking at all about the fact that we'd come back. We were just like, it's back 2.0. We didn't even talk about how it happened.
Well, we should, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, Blood Ties 2.0 is, wonderful in its different sort of way.
We always thought about doing more, didn't we? But it became really difficult for us to do.
It just became tough.
Yeah.
Because you were so busy. And
also, podcasting's expensive, guys.
Yes, can be.
Can be.
But now it's lovely to be back.
Yeah.
And you've been away.
Yeah, I went to Ireland.
Wonderful. And it didn't rain.
It didn't rain. It was absolutely glorious. I swam in the sea.
Oh, my goodness me.
Yeah.
That is beyond the call of duty.
It was really beautiful. The place where I was staying was so beautiful.
Oh. But you went there when you were 16. Different, but you didn't stay in that place.
Same. I went to Inch Beach while I was there. I went to Dingle one day and then to Inch. And we stayed in Inch when we went when I was 16. So, yeah, it was exactly the same. I sent a picture to the women I went with.
Gosh.
I was like, guys, it's just the same apart from we're not here with Brian the albino horse and the horse-drawn caravan.
Yes, I remember that very well. I've still got the little man who brought me back in my kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
That little Irish man. It's still hanging in the wall.
About that. Yeah, that's so true.
And the interesting thing, darling, this morning is I've chosen an Irish story.
Have you?
Yes. I think it's serendipity. It's not meticulous planning, but it is nevertheless an Irish story. I'm very conscious that I need to find a poisoner for you.
Well, we hurtled through a lot of poisoners back in the first go-round.
Yes, but I've found a poisoner, an American poisoner in the 19th century. Good period for you, except she's not a Victorian. She's in America.
19th century, though, I'll take it.
Yes? Okay. So
but that's not today.
That's not today.
Not today.
No.
And also, I think I remember you saying last time we met that you were going to somewhere on the Elizabeth line.
Maryland, yes.
Maryland.
I went to Maryland. It was very exciting.
Was it?
Maryland is past Stratford.
Okay.
Not far.
But not Essex.
I think it's on the edge of Essex. But I got on a Tottenham Court Road and it's 5 stops.
That's amazing.
It is 16 minutes.
Wow.
And it's a very nice house. It costs a fortune, of course, even because it's a house.
Yeah.
And but it got a garden and a proper garden shed, where you can keep the bikes and it's very. Mind you, they're great cyclists, and I'm certainly not a cyclist.
You are not a cyclist.
No.
You would never end up a mammal.
No.
Middle-aged man in lycra.
So no, I'm afraid I'm not into lycra at all.
No. No cycling.
Okay, let me just set the scene for this. This is a woman called Catherine Nevin, who was actually born Scully.
Wait, are we starting?
We're starting.
Okay, well then we should give it a name and I have to announce it.
Okay, this is called Ireland's Black Widow.
Okay, so we're going with Ireland's Black Widow. Catherine
Nevin, née Scully, was born on the 1st of October 1950. She became notorious in Ireland, but it was quite an ordinary upbringing. She was born in a little village called Nerney in County Kildare, and she had 2 siblings. Now, County Kildare, where's County Kildare?
Don't ask me about Irish geography.
Okay.
Well, you don't know either if you're asking
I don't
me.
know, I was asking you.
Okay.
You've just been to Ireland. Her father was a farmer and her mother was a seamstress. Very good Catholic family. They had a tiny little house with a tin roof. Very, very Irish, rural Irish.
I went to a bog museum, which is a reconstruction of a 19th century Irish village.
Crikey.
Yeah, it was something.
Well, then you can imagine. We're
Yes.
talking about the 1950s.
So a bit further, yeah.
A bit later than
Yeah.
your museum. And it was she was a bright girl. And she went to school and she went on to train in dressmaking like her mother. But then obviously she felt that she needed to blossom a little more. and she took a secretarial course and got a job in the Castle Hotel in Dublin, one of the oldest hotels in Dublin. Now, the thing about the Castle Hotel was that it was very close to the IRA headquarters, and an awful lot of Republicans used to go to the Castle Hotel on a regular basis. And so here becomes the link into many things that happen over the next part of her life. She's seen as a glamorous, ambitious woman who always wanted to set up a modelling school. No, she's quite, brassy is unfair, but she's quite outgoing and in that rather delightful Irish way, quite talkative. And you can imagine it.
Mm-hmm.
So she meets a man called Tom Nevin. Now, Tom Nevin is a bit older than her. He was born in Tyner in County Galway in 1941, so he's 9 years older than her. Tom was big, gentle giant of a man, 6'3", very quiet, very sotto voce. He actually had been married before. He married a woman called June, and in 1971, when he was 30, very good Catholic. But the marriage didn't really work. And so extraordinarily, and it's very unusual in Ireland, Tom managed to get the marriage annulled, which is extraordinary. I mean, really, really rare. I imagine he insisted it had never been consummated. I have no idea. But so the marriage to June is annulled. And in 1971, Tom Nevin meets the 21-year-old Catherine Scully. And they form a relationship. And in 1976, Tom takes Catherine to Rome, both Catholics, to get married. Rather romantic in a way, rather super. Now, Tom is hardworking and has always wanted to run pubs. That's what he's always really wanted to do. And she's working in the Castle Hotel. So you've got, the hospitality industry is in their bones, if you like. There's something about her that obviously attracted him. I think she was very outgoing, and he was obviously the opposite. And how can one put it? Rather strangely and very un-Irish, Tom gradually becomes a bit of a battered husband. I mean, she starts beating him. And he doesn't, you would have thought this giant of a man would respond, but no, he...
Okay, well, let's be careful about making generalizations.
I know I'm careful about making generalizations. But nevertheless, one of the things about Catherine is that she has an eye for hard men. She likes dangerous men. And of course, working in the Castle Hotel and then in another pub, she meets an awful lot of IRA hard men. Sinn Féin at its toughest. And she develops a string of relationships. Mostly with Sinn Féin workers or Sinn Féin supporters. There's a man called John Jones, there's another man called William McLean, and there's a third one as well. But nevertheless, Tom and Catherine are beavering away, and they finally buy a pub. It's actually a good pub indeed. 1986 this is. It's in County Wicklow, and it's called Jack White's Inn. And the place is called Ballina Park in Britus Bay. Well, on the surface, everything is fine. Pub blossoms, plenty of people come in. But I don't know what it was, but something in Catherine was unsatisfied. It wasn't enough. And she gradually becomes more and more annoyed with her giant of a quiet husband. And by 1989, 3 years into having Jack White's in, she's completely fed up with him. She's not living up to he's not living up to her expectations. And I'm not suggesting in what way, just simply saying he isn't. And she's also wanted his money because he's got a number of other properties that he'd bought, because remember, he's 9 years older than she is. He's got a number of properties. And so she becomes, how can I put it politely, ambitious. And she thinks, I wonder what I can do here. So she sets out, and this is that's what is such a wonderfully Irish story. She sets out to hire one of the hard men she's met and had a relationship with to kill Tom. The first one she asks is a man called John Jones, who absolutely says no. Oh no, she said. I mean, she's a proposition. We said best way to do this is make it look like a botched hold-up.
Wait, who said that? He did.
This is
or
Catherine
she did?
says to John Jones, the man she's trying to persuade to kill her husband. Let's make it look like a botched hold-up. And he says, no, I'm not. She doesn't just ask him once. She asks him multiple times. He says, no. Well, among her many other conquests at this period, because the pub, Jack White's, is also popular with the Garda. So she starts a relationship with a Garda inspector. All the while...
She's not going to ask him, is she?
No, she didn't ask him.
Okay.
It's a good point. Very good point. Anyway, she then asks another of her Sinn Féin hard men, a man called Willie McLean, if he could get rid of Tom, and she'll give him 20,000. And she'll inherit everything. And, well, they can resume the relationship that they might have had temporarily earlier on. Willie says no. She then, unfazed by anything, she's also simultaneously also having a relationship with an Irish judge. She then solicits the third Sinn Féin hard man, a man called Jerry Heaps. And they meet. Well, by now it's 1995, and Catherine, ever the thinking of the future, takes out a large insurance policy on Tom's life, £100,000. She's clearly determined that Tom is not going to continue, and she's going to get the pub, the money, and the properties, and you have to admire her ambition. I mean, not necessarily the way of achieving it, mind. It's almost like Double Indemnity, if you can imagine. You remember the Fred McMurray, Barbara Stanwyck film, and Barbara Stanwyck comes down the stairs and meets the insurance agent. And she says, will you kill my husband? He says, no, we've got to do it a different way. There's all the elements of that glamour in it, in a way. On the night of the 18th of March, 1996, Catherine tells the bar staff they can't sleep in the rooms upstairs above the pub, which is rather odd, because they're used to sleeping there. But this night she says, no, you can't. That's the night that Tom Nevin is killed. He's discovered in the kitchen in a pool of blood with a massive gunshot wound. It's actually a shotgun wound to his side. He's killed instantly. Catherine calls the Garda at about 4:45 in the morning of the 19th, 4:45 a.m., the morning of the 19th of March. She says that she was tied up, but she managed to free her legs. It's all a bit extreme, but nevertheless, she's got a sort of handkerchief around her neck that might have been a gag, and her hands are tied in front of her with her dressing gown cord, and she's found in the hallway sitting on the floor with her back to the wall. Oh, it's a burglary, and all her jewellery is trailed down the floor, but there's no jewellery missing. And all the bedroom drawers have been pulled out, but the stuff on the dressing table is still standing. It's all a little peculiar. Nevertheless, Tom's buried, and, well, bear in mind that Catherine was always popular with the guards in the area, so nobody asked too many questions, except one or two suspicions are aroused. A few days after the funeral, in which she plays the perfect grieving widow, one of the three Sinn Féin supporters that she's approached to kill Tom, his number is found in her contacts book, although it's scribbled over, so to conceal that. Well, as you might imagine, even despite her agreeable demeanour towards the guards, in July 1996, on the 27th, she's actually arrested in her pub and kept in custody for 60 hours. But they don't have any concrete proof. Although she is arrested the following day for unlawful possession of a firearm that was found in the pub, but it wasn't the murder weapon, on the night of Tom's murder.
Not a shotgun.
Not a shotgun. Well, a few months pass, and in early 1997, Catherine sells Jack White's inn for 3 times what they paid for it, £620,000. Well, now things are beginning to look a bit suspicious. I mean, there's the insurance policy, they're selling the pub, and there are these connections with the Sinn Féin and hard men. And so finally, on the 14th of April 1997, Catherine Nevin is finally charged with the murder of Tom Nevin and soliciting other men to murder him. She is remanded in custody, and Tom's mother, Nora Nevin, begins court proceedings to prevent Catherine from being able to benefit financially from the sale of Jack White's inn, and indeed any of the other properties. Well,
they never had any children.
No, they didn't have any children. No. And that's a matter of some interest. If you think, was he failing her, or was she failing him? Genuinely, I don't know. But it's a long time for justice to catch up with Catherine Nevin. I mean, Tom dies in March 96, and it's not until April 97 that she's actually arrested and charged for the murder. But even then, this wonderfully contorted, very Irish story, she's kept in jail. And then in 1999, Nora Nevin, Tom's mother, dies. So the court proceedings to keep the money is in abeyance. So on the 12th of January 2000, the first trial begins. There are going to be 3 trials. Catherine is charged with murder and conspiracy to murder her husband. But the judge places a reporting restriction on the intense media interest in Catherine Nevin. All matters relating to her appearance, reading material, demeanour, and he prohibits photographs of her arriving in court. This is a massive event in Irish history, Irish criminal history. On the 26th of January, a couple of weeks after the trial starts, the trial collapses after a staff member of the court reports hearing the jury discussing Nevin's case outside the jury room. Can you imagine the prosecution? They must have been tearing their hair out. 2 weeks later, on the 8th of February, a second trial begins. A new jury is sworn in. But that too collapses. Of course, a jury member gets ill. And this is
not set up. This is all real things that happen.
These are all real things. And on the 14th of February 2000, the third trial begins. Now, this is no small deal. There are 170 witnesses, 61 days of evidence. The judge with whom she's had an affair and the Garda inspector with whom she's had an affair both deny it in court. But all 3, quotes, hitmen, give evidence against her.
And say she asked them to.
That's right. They all say. She claims, by way of amusement, I suppose, it all has such a wonderfully over-the-top ring to it. She claims that Tom was a member of the IRA and he'd been killed by an IRA man who was angry with him. I mean, nevertheless, on the 11th of April 2000, Catherine Nevin is found guilty of murder and also found guilty of soliciting 3 men between 1989 and 1995 to murder her husband. She's given a mandatory life sentence. But she absolutely insists that she's innocent. I didn't do it. It was someone killed him, and it wasn't me. But the suspicions remain, and Tom's relatives, brothers and sister, take up their mother's case to make sure she doesn't profit from the sale of the pub or anything else. After the trial has concluded and she's been found guilty, a judicial inquiry is launched into her relationship with the judge. Because
why does it matter if she had a relationship with a judge?
Well, here's the twist. He had agreed to transfer the deeds of ownership of the pub from Tom's name to Catherine's name.
That's a separate thing.
Separate, yes. But nevertheless, jolly helpful if you're going to sell it.
Yeah, I meant that would be like looked at in a different... Well, this is what this thing is.
While she was on the murder charge, it should be added.
Yeah.
Now, in 2001, the family take up the case. Catherine Nevin appeals in 2003 against conviction, dismissed. In 2010, she claims a miscarriage of justice. In 2000, again dismissed. In 2013, the High Court rules in favour of Tom Nevin's family. She's not going to benefit from the estate. And in 2016, late in 2016, she's diagnosed with a terminal brain tumour. Bear in mind, she's not, by this point, particularly an old woman. Time and again, she appeals against the ruling that Tom's family take the benefits of the sale. She's still insisting that she's innocent. And you have to say that she really has some front, because goodness me, she doesn't back down, not for one moment. But late in 2017, she's moved to hospice, and she dies on the 19th of February 2018. And a year or so later, the Supreme Court ruled that Nevin's conviction can be relied upon by Tom Nevin's family, and she cannot benefit from the sale of any of the properties. So that is a story. I think that's quite a remarkable story.
Yeah, I've never heard anything about that before at all. But it was a big deal when it was happening in Ireland.
It was a very big deal in Ireland, but it's a comparatively little-known story. And what I think is charming, indeed fascinating about it, is her absolute determination.
Got to stick with your guns,
yeah,
literally.
It's in many ways rather thrilling. I mean, gosh, I'm not saying it's admirable that you should organise the killing of your husband. On the contrary, but I'm saying, my word, she didn't half demonstrate some gusto in doing this. Why? Why? What was it? What was it in this woman that was so? I mean, he was 9 years older than she was. She was probably going to inherit anyway. I'm sure he'd made a will in her favour. There were no children.
Don't know, she must have been... She had a reason.
She had a reason.
We'll never know what it was.
No, probably not. But it is an interesting case. I mean, she wasn't a poisoner, which is much more likely for a woman, isn't it?
Yeah, it's unusual for a woman to shoot a man close range.
We don't know that she shot him. But
we don't. But that she orchestrated it.
Yes. It is interesting.
It's a suggestion. So it's left on. Do you think it was her that shot him?
Probably. But what does she do with the shotgun?
Put it in a large body of water, probably.
Possibly. But
what would you do with a gun?
Well, we'd have to get rid of it quite quickly.
No, but what would you do?
I put it in a large body of water, probably. Yes, throw it in. But it's a truly interesting case.
Yeah, I've never heard that before.
And one that was surprisingly little known outside Ireland.
Yeah, and it's quite current.
Yes. Oh no, it's not a long time ago. Yeah. I mean, she died in 2018, so it's not that long.
Interesting. Well, thanks, Dad.
It's a pleasure. Well, it's not really a pleasure because it's quite a sad story, but it is one of those.
I don't know. It's less depressing than the first one we did. I was like, oh God, I've forgotten that a lot of these are really hard.
Yeah, but it is an example of the lengths people can go to achieve something. You know, it's that.
Maybe once you've got something in your head, you're just like,
I'm going to do it.
I'm going to do it.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to make sure it happens.
Because, I mean, if you've asked 3 people and they've all said no, you're never going to get away with it because the likelihood is they'll be like, oh, yeah, she asked me to do that.
Yeah. Which they all gave evidence against her.
Yeah.
I mean, this wasn't Lady Macbeth, was it? I mean, she was quite...
It's not like the most intellectually conniving, sneaky way of doing something.
No, in that respect, rather unfemale, unwomanly, because women usually said planning to kill their husband and go about it in a rather more complicated way.
Because we're all so clever.
Yeah, we are. Certainly, no doubt about it. I've never doubted it.
Never doubted it.
It's but I think why I find it interesting is that the number of women who kill is far smaller than the number of men.
We don't know if this is, but that doesn't mean the number of women that would kill if they could. Do you know what I mean? As in, like, we're not sure if she actually committed the crime. Obviously, she really wanted to, but she just wanted to follow through. Maybe there are loads of women out there who are like, oh, I could murder this man.
Yes. No, I don't mean that literally. I could kill him. I don't mean that literally. That's the fascination of the case, and that's why I'm looking for another poisoner for you.
Yeah, you love a poisoner.
The very first podcast we ever did,
the teacup poisoner,
was a poisoner.
But that was not a woman.
No, it was a man.
That was a man.
No.
Well, thanks so much.
No, pleasure.
Much appreciated.
Pleasure.
Have you any other news?
Yes, I watched the West series on Netflix.
Oh yeah, what did you think?
British Horror Story. I thought most of it was fairly mundane, but just one element was absolutely sensational. They got 4 relatives of 4 of the victims, and their testimony is simply spectacularly good. And it was worth watching just for them, because it's heartfelt. They've never spoken before, and it's really moving and incredibly moving. The show itself, the whole 3 eps, there's very little of any real significance.
It's quite hard to tell you anything you don't already know, though.
Yeah.
You're a tough audience on that subject
matter.
But
but these 4 ladies were incredibly moving, and it brought home, which I think it should, the depravity of West's killings.
Yeah.
Which never leave me. That thought never leaves me.
Is there quite a lot of home footage of them? And I saw on the trailer there was some video of them.
Well, there's a bit of video. There's a bit of video that the police took of Fred going back to Cromwell Street and pointing out where the bodies were.
I saw there was like a video of them on a beach or like on.
Oh yes, yeah. No, but that's not new.
Oh no, I know, but to me it is.
Yeah,
I don't have.
That video. I think one of the other things that's interesting about it is that you see what a banal little figure West was.
You have always said that about him.
Tiny, insignificant little man with curly hair and a little sing-song voice. But so yeah, I watched that.
Okay, nice. Well, thank you very much, as ever. Thank you to all the people that help us, to our producer Peter, to my brother Dan, who did the music, my friend George, who drew our caricature, to Geoffrey for all the hard work, and to you, the listeners, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much for listening. It proves again, as I've said so regularly, that bad things happen to good people. And Tom Nevin was probably a very good man. So do be careful out there.